we're going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And guys, I come back with that video just to make you think. And guys, we have Saylor's MicroStrategy stock crashing. We have Elon Musk stock Tesla crashing. So guys, when is Bitcoin going to crash? We know the reason why MicroStrategy and Tesla stocks are crashing. I've been over this, especially if you pay attention to my stock channel. The bond yields are warming up. The bond market is heating up, guys. So we know what's going to happen. The Fed is going to manipulate this front end, but they're only going to do it for a little while. Why do we know they're only going to do it for a little while, guys? Because we know they create the problem. They wait on the reaction, and then they come in with the solution. Yes, we have all this institutional money coming in, but guys, it's all coming from the Fed. The Fed is orchestrating a crash. And the fact is that when the stock market hits its crash towards the end of the year, cryptos are going to come along with it. That means Bitcoin is going to crash also. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. Remember, cryptos are for the fourth industrial revolution. It's for the robots, the drones, the algorithms. They're not ready to turn it on yet, guys. That's the reason why we're still in the speculation phase, and that's the reason why we have no regulation. But Michael Saylor says some very, very important things. He says we're birthing a new idea. So like I stated, guys, they want you to believe the central bank is buying all this gold for no reason. Tell the central bank to give us all that gold they have in those vaults, and then we'll believe Bitcoin is digital gold. But until then, guys, keep yourselves diversified. That's the smartest thing any investor can do. So when Michael Saylor is saying only 1%, no investor is going to do that, look at his stock, guys. It was $90. His stock was doing horrible before the New World Order gave him the wonderful deal. Stock went from $90 to $1,300. Like, we can't see that, guys. And then we have Elon Musk. A lot of people don't know that he was one of the creators, along with Peter Thiel, of PayPal. So it's not a coincidence that PayPal is leading in cryptocurrencies. And of course, we have Elon Musk constantly talking about Dogecoin and now investing in Bitcoin. Because remember, guys, when it comes to the New World Order, everything is planned out. Enjoy the rest of the video.
To say I'm a great financial investor, I'm a master of the universe. I understand macroeconomics and investment, and I'm therefore allocating 1%. It's silly. It's amusing. But on the other hand, you're going to see other people that are going to take a harder position. I think there are people that are taking a much stronger position in Bitcoin now. They're just not public about it, right? I mean, when I actually came out, when I came out and said MicroStrategy did it, well, I had to, right? It's just a requirement. We're a publicly traded company, no choice. But when I actually announced my own purchase, I didn't have to. And there are people that would say don't, right? And by the way, for 99.9% of the Bitcoiners, I would say don't. I get it. People would even post on their Twitter, why'd you do that? First rule of Bitcoin, don't tell people how much Bitcoin you have. I'm like, that's true for 50 million people. But we need 10 people. We need to have 10 people that will say, I bought it. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm going to buy more. And you can too. In fact, not only can you you probably should. You might want to get some in case it catches on. So at the point that I do it, if Jack Dorsey does it, if Mark Zuckerberg does it, if Jeff Bezos does it, if some random billionaire playing tennis in the Hamptons does it, if a Bill Ackman does it, when a Paul Tudor Jones does it, if Paul Tudor Jones really wants to do something good for his position in Bitcoin, there could be no more accretive thing he could possibly do than to be honest and say, I bought 400 million of it and I'm going to buy more. It's like, if you're not willing to say that, you're just patronizing and insulting the rest of us, right? I mean, that's my view on that. If you're not going to say that, it's like, so I think it's going to happen, right? There is some bravery, some courage here. By the way, I own courage.com. I don't think I'm going to path it to Bitcoin, although I could. But, there's a difference between buying $250 million worth of Facebook and buying $250 million worth of Apple and buying $250 million worth of sovereign debt or gold. These things are traditional, conventional asset classes that everybody understands. If you were to stand up and say, oh, I bought $250 million worth of Facebook, that's somewhere between vain, and flashy and arrogant or whatever. But when you're birthing an asset class, when you're actually legitimizing a brand new idea that 99% of the world doesn't understand and they are either ignorant of or afraid of, at that point, it's important that people with conviction stand up and they say, nothing to be ashamed of. I did it. I'm proud I did it. I'm going to buy more. It wasn't a hedge. It's not a speculation. I didn't show up, Dan, to sleep with your daughter for the night in a one-night stand. I want to marry your daughter. Like, what? I kind of feel like, it's like, I don't want a one-night stand. I actually want someone to make a commitment to me. That's the difference here. And so we need companies to make commitments. That's why it's brave for Square to step up and do it. That's why it's brave and courageous for PayPal to do it. That's why I applaud what NYDIG did and what Stone Ridge did. And I think more people need to do it. And
the reason why Bitcoin is live today.
Yeah, so my thought on this, in the world of financial assets and economics, you have a $250 trillion world, and scarcity is a rare and odd and strange idea, right? Because all assets are bleeding energy. Fiat is being printed. People are issuing more bonds. Companies are issuing more equity. People are developing more real estate. Miners are mining more gold. All of those assets are inflating. And therefore, they can't hold energy very well unless, say, a company's got to grow its cash flows faster than the rate of monetary do that, then they bleed energy and they're not a good store of value. So on one hand, you have this world which is the world of the economist, where politics and philosophy enter in, and the idea is, because I believe something, it's okay to go ahead and print $1 trillion. There's a different world, the world of engineering, which I grew up in at MIT. Okay, and it's bizarre to me. Bitcoin is unique. It's the only scarce asset. It's the only one where you can't print more of it, and that makes it utterly unique in the finance world. But it's utterly ordinary in the engineering world. There isn't any engineering system that doesn't respect the laws of thermodynamics and conservation of energy. In fact, the entire universe operates under natural law, and the first law is conservation of energy.
You mentioned the startup of PayPal, which is a great innovation that happened in sort of how we pay for things. That seems to me an area in which there hasn't been as much subsequent innovation other than Bitcoin as there should be. In other words, quickly transferring money, especially to people you don't know or whatever, is, to me, maybe I'm wrong, far more difficult than it seems like it should be. Are you somewhat disappointed with the way PayPal then proceeded, or are you disappointed with the lack of innovation in the digital currency environment?
Yeah, PayPal has definitely, it hasn't moved much since from when it was sort of bought by eBay. The long-term vision that I had for PayPal, or sort of in sort of finance, was to well, it sounds a bit strange, like to convert the financial system from a series of heterogeneous, insecure databases to one database, or, well, not one database, but maybe there'd be like a few more. The money is just a number in a database. That's what it is, and it's primarily an information mechanism for labor allocation. And the current databases are not very efficient. Like there are these old legacy mainframes that don't talk to each other very well, have poor security, and only do batch processing once a day.
Are you glad PayPal is being spun off?
It's probably the right move.
And what would you do with it?
Well, I think I converted it into more of a full-service financial institution. So you want to do all the things that a consumer. You want to have like all the financial services that somebody needs in one place, seamlessly integrated together and easy to use. And I think really care about the consumer. I think a lot of banks don't seem to care that much about the customer. So I think there's an opportunity to be like a really good bank, effectively, but much more than what people think of as.
Do you think Bitcoin will be disruptive in that way? I mean, now it's a speculative currency. Will it be something that will be what normal consumers will use and will disrupt the banking industry?
My opinion of Bitcoin is that, I think Bitcoin is probably a good thing, but it's essentially, its main thing will be, I mean, this will probably get quoted here and there, but I think it's primarily going to be a means of doing illegal transactions. But that's not necessarily entirely bad, because some things shouldn't be illegal. But
the combination of Silk Road and Bitcoin will save us?
Well, it will be useful for legal and illegal transactions. Otherwise, it would have no value as a use for legal transactions, because you have to have a legal to illegal bridge.
Yeah.
I don't own any Bitcoin, by the way.